I've got the seat out of this truck right here, and it is a lot easier to do this dash right here when the seat's out. You just got more room and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to take out one of these dashes and install a new one. So y'all stay tuned, yeah? All right, so there are a ton of screws that are holding in this dash pad. The dash pad's also partly held in by our instrument cluster face right here. Now, when you take these out, they are relatively specific. I don't think you can pick this up on camera, but this is a long, skinny screw with a Phillips head top, and it's actually got a little bit of a washer that's already on there. So you don't want to lose these guys. Get yourself a little magnetic tray, and then you'll be able to keep track of everybody. Now, over the years, a lot of times people will stick different screws in there and things like that, so you may not have the same exact thing going on with yours. But if it's pretty stock like this one is, you'll have a lot of screws here. Right here you've got a screw, but for whatever reason they went with a little 1/4 inch hex head on this one. So again, these are also not as specific as the other ones, but they are easy to lose, so make sure you keep track of all of those. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these screws out. I'm going to find out where they all are, and then I'm going to tell you where they all are. So give me a minute, huh? Taking this piece off the bottom, I've got the screws off all around my dash bezel piece here, but you're not going to be able to pull it off with the radio knob still on. They're just going to slide off like this. And then the headlight bezel, or the headlight switch, what you have to do on it is you have to pull it all the way out, and then you have to feel on the switch, and there's a little button on there, and you have to push that in at the same time, and then you can pull this out. So it's a bit tough to see when it's in there, but you'll have to feel up in there, and it's just got a little button. So pull it out, push the button, it comes out the rest of the way. Now that that's off of there like that, then I should be able to just gently pull this up and out of the way like that. Okay, so we've got all the screws in the front, bezel off, you got the screws in the bottom, and that's basically about it. And you just got to gently bring it out like this. You're going to watch your AC vents in the back right here. They sometimes they'll get stuck back there and you'll have to separate them, but just going to need to wedge this out a little bit. Okay, like that. Now take a look at this here on the back side. See how it has these slips right here? So that is how it attaches in the front. That's why there are no screws up there or anything. So now when we're here, we'll clean this up. We'll take a look at our radio speaker, miscellaneous things like that, and take care of it at the same time. You can see how your AC vents attach on the back here. You can see how the trim piece right here, it attaches on the back. Those are just 3/8 or 7/16, I forget. So I'll be taking all this off. We'll be cleaning all that up. So I'll be back in 2 and 2. Okay, so this is old plastic. It gets brittle, and when you try to take this little piece off, that's this piece here, then it's probably just going to break right on off. So you can see it's got these little nuts on here, and I didn't put any effort on there at all. They all broke. No big deal, because we sell them new. So just expect that to happen when you order your dash pad. Just order that at the same time if yours has the same style on there. The next thing that we're going to need to take off of this are these little clips that are in the top of this here. And how you take this off is you just get a little screwdriver, and in the back right here, you're just going to pry that up a little bit while you're pulling it back, and then it'll come off. So what it looks like, so you know, is you can see that this tab right here, see how that's folded down? So what you have to do is you just have to bring this tab up out of that slot right there, and then you slide it back so that it'll disengage from there. So I'm going to get all of these off, and then I'll put this on the new one, and we'll see how easy it goes back in. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and stick my clips back on. So when they make this right here, the rubber or whatever this is, it'll come through these little holes right here, and you might have to just trim it up a little bit so that it'll fit back inside. Not a big deal. Comes off real easy, you can see. And then what we're going to do is set this here. And again, remember, we've got this edge that we've got to slip underneath this right here. So we're going to set it back. We'll get our screwdriver on here like this, and we're pushing down and forward at the same time. And then it should just kind of clip in there like that. You'll notice the back end here popped right into this little slot right here, and now we're all good to go. So I'll go ahead and get all these guys on, and then I'll show you what comes next. We're all ready to go back together again. Now you might forget which way these guys go and which way this guy goes. So what they've done for you is they've got it set up where there's 2 right here, 1, 2 right here, 1. So you match it up, you got 2 holes here, you got 1 hole there, so you know this is the correct way because this is the only way it'll fit on. Same thing for this guy. So same thing on here. You'll notice you got 2 holes here and you only have 1 here. There's not 1 down here. So there's only 1 way that this can go on. So we just simply slide it in like that, get it all flush, and then we put on our AC vent right here. So I'm not sure you can see this, but the tabs aren't sticking out. The bolt, if you will, isn't sticking out that far. And that's relatively common with these. This thick rubbery material here, it's pretty fat and such. And so on the back side here, sometimes it's just a little too thick. So all I got to do is just take a little Dremel tool or something and just thin it out. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do it where I need to on my holes, and that's it. And then I'll be able to reassemble this and get it all set up. So 2 and 2. All right, so what I used on this was just a small little wire wheel. I got the drill, I put it on low speed, and then I just gently grinded that area out there. I don't have to take off a lot. I just needed to take off just enough to where I can get my thread started. So now I can set this on here, and now I can get this all bolted up. We're ready to go back in. Now what I want to do is point out the clips right here and the slots that they go into. So that's going to be the first thing. We want to make sure we get aimed into that. And this isn't going to just like fall into place. You're going to need to snug it up, snug it up, snug it up, snug it up, especially in the corners here. A lot of times they're tight. And I've got the glove box open because when we're going to be putting the vents onto here, if you leave those open, it makes it easier. You can mess with that vent on there and get those lined up. But first I'll get this on, then I'll worry about the vents. So a little something like this. Okay, so I'm going to double check each individual slot if I can. Okay, good. All right. Okay. All right, well, this one actually did slip in pretty easy. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put my screws back in just like it was originally. I'll put my face back on and I will go ahead and screw this on. Now a lot of times the holes right here, they get covered up by the material, so you just get a little pointy awl and just poke it in each individual hole as necessary, and then you'll be all good to go. So let me go ahead and get this on the rest of the way, and then we'll go for a ride, huh? I'm going to need to connect my air conditioning vent to the hose that's back there. Easiest way to get to it is to either take the glove box door off, or you can just gently bring it past this right here. You just got to bend the plastic just gently past that. Now I can get my hand up here. I don't want to push on it too much because it is plastic, and so this can break. If it does, we sell new ones, and I got a video on that too. So I've got this connected. I'll worry about that one later. We just got to pop these back on, and we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just get these little screws started, okay, but I'm not going to get them totally tightened up. I want to be able to have a little bit of movement because I might need to jostle this end in order to get everything lined up. So we'll find out. All right, now to get these little screws back in, you get yourself a little pointy, little awl, and you just simply put it right through the hole and just kind of look around, feel for the receptacle there, and then you get a really good idea of what angle and everything you need to put your screw in, and that should make everything a lot easier for you. Again, we are not tightening these down all the way, we're just getting them started, and then we'll move on over to here. We'll do the same thing, we'll just get them started. After everything's lined up, then we'll go ahead and snug everything up. So our bezel is all ready to go in. It should just slide right on in here. And you know, when you're doing all of this, think about the peripheral things that go along at the same time. So it'd be a real crime if I had to take all this dash off and everything, and then I didn't replace my lenses here, or whatever gauge wasn't working correctly, what have you. Make sure you knock out as many birds as one stone. You don't want to do this 2 or 3 times. So I'm ready to go back together. Now, one of the things I kind of want to point out on this is all the screws that are on this. You'll notice that right here, okay, see this right here? This is the gauge cluster, and the face is going to screw right into that, okay? But right here on the sides, it really doesn't screw anything into the back here, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to get it on, and then we'll go ahead and line up the holes that line up on our lower dash right here. We'll make sure this is fitting properly. It's not up too high, not down too low. Once it's in the right position, then I'll just get an little pointy guy, and through each one of the holes, I'll just poke a little hole. We don't have it too big. Remember, those little screws are pretty small, so we'll go ahead and poke those in. When I'm poking this one in, I'm also poking and I'm looking for the hole on the back of this support right here, if you will. So I'm going to get this on, your lower ones first, then everybody at the top. Okay, our dash is in and it is looking really, really good. So like I said, I was taking my seat out of this, and it was just going to be easiest time to do the dash. So make sure you subscribe, and then you can check out on how to reupholster your seats. It's not that difficult. You don't have to take it to a shop. You can do it yourself, just like everything else I'm training you how to do. You make sure you check us out next Tuesday, because we're going to be back then too, and we're going to show you something else cool. So you make sure you subscribe, and you check us out on Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of silly stuff they got going on. We'll be doing a TikTok really soon too, so you watch out for that. Bye, maybe.